All right, here we go. Welcome back. We are wrapping up our 6 story arc of Victoria Peak. We're reading the last story. Rearview Riches starts, if you have hardback, on page 64. Not too many pictures in this one. I haven't really been calling out the photos in previous ones. Don't know why I started with this one. I guess because it's a binder that shows every lead that he followed. So we don't know. I'm guessing from the age of the binder that this is a young Justin and the way he collects stuff. I just don't see current Justin assembling this binder, right? It just doesn't look. I mean, come on, there's not even little tabs at the end, right? That's like binder 101. So enough about that. The one big thing that jumps out at me is how this wraps up about meeting the kid named Kevin, which. Is that true or is it not? Did he really meet a kid named Kevin? Is this a story that he's telling us to convey a point? Interestingly, that Kevin's clutching a compass, right? There's been a lot of talk of the 4 points of the compass, who the 4 points are, that you need a compass, and I mean, from the parameters, even the updated parameters that he's put out, which I will need to update myself because I do have Carlsbad Caverns on there, and the way I understand his new errata list, new rules, that would not be in play. He wouldn't even use caverns or caves or mines just as a waypoint, right? So I got to go back and redo that one. But interestingly, that Kevin, the kid in the story, right? For those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, in the story Rearview Riches, Justin is kind of moving on from this active phase of trying to get into Victoria Peak, trying to get into the White Sands missile range, and he sees many years later he sees a young kid named Kevin. How did he know the kid's name? Does it say? I watched a kid named Kevin. Yeah. So maybe he knew the kid, or he heard the mom yelling Kevin, or maybe he knew this. I don't know. It's a weird detail for sure. But he watched him get dragged out because he was late to soccer practice, right? And he's holding on to a compass like that, like it can unlock everything. So I don't know. Is this one of the clues that he's sprinkled in through the book, right? He wrote the book and then he goes back and maybe adds a few little things. Maybe he's trying to close the Victoria Peak arc and then throws in a story about Kevin and Walmart, right? Kevin's clenching the compass, trying to tell us that, hey, the compass. This is page 65, direct quote. He was clutching a compass. Oh, not even the compass. He was clutching a compass like it was the key to unlock every mystery in the Sacramento Mountains. Do I think it's in the Sacramento Mountains? No. But do I think the compass is a key? I still do. Not just because of this line, right? We're not taking exact lines from the book and using it to unravel all sorts of stuff. But it's just what people call a confirmer, right? So still a big fan of the compass. And then it talks about, I witnessed the exact moment his eyes dimmed and the fire of his wanderlust died out. There's a little bit more on the other page talking about how people traded their treasure maps for Google Maps. Is that a hint? Is that I don't know. Their expedition plans for Excel sheets. This isn't like the other hunt where he tells you need to excel at something, right? But I do like that he talked about Spanish gold, right? They're installing ring cameras to catch porch pirates instead of hunting for Spanish gold. And I think that's very important when you talk about his early treasure hunting experience and the mental, his imagination, the games he played. He pictured himself digging and hunting for Spanish gold. I think that's important. I think that's going to play back into the poem. So that's pretty much it. What have we learned from this 6-story arc about Victoria Peak? And again, I know earlier videos I was doing deep dive analysis into the into each story, and it feels like as I'm doing these now that I'm kind of phoning it in, but it's intentional, right? I mean, if we wanted to, we could go into the elbow jabs, the MPs to talk about why he mentioned Google Maps, go more in depth about Spanish gold. We could go into a deep dive on onyx, right, and the hunting and breeding patterns and grazing range and all sorts of stuff. But I just don't think that's the way we're gonna do it. I don't think that's the correct way. I don't think that's what Justin wants. And I'm going to finish this video when we go to the poem explaining that a little bit more. All right. If you watched my TTI, JCB's There's Treasure Inside video from yesterday, it's going to touch on a familiar theme. But yeah, so the main point in my opinion, that we're supposed to get from this is we're moving on from the Victorial Peak arc. He's trying to convey something with that 6-story arc, and he will bring it up again later. So that's kind of 7 stories, right? Huge portion of this 48 or 52 story book, depending on how you count, right? 7 48ths or 7 seconds. It's a decent fraction, right? I think Don't Let Your Wanderlust Die Out. I really do think that most of the book is for us as treasure hunters to take lessons, to help with the closure, right? The post-hunt blues, as it were. Okay, so that's, again, I'm not, I can feel part of my brain wanting to, but I'm going to resist this time around for this particular time, and I'm going to resist deep diving into the story. We're just going to read the front and pull out the major things, which I think Compass is a major one. All right, let's go to the poem here. So here's what I'm thinking, all right? And I went through this rabbit hole recently with JCB's hunt. Now I'm doing it again with Posey's hunt. And it's really a compliment. I mean, I've had more in-depth conversations with total strangers over the internet with this hunt than the last hunt. I'm not sure why, what it is that's making people engage more, or open up. Maybe because they feel like it should be easier than it is, and they're getting desperate, and so they're just desperate to share. Maybe that's part of it. I don't know, but I've had really great discussions with people, educated people from all kinds of walks of life, with experiences and subject matter experts in all types of fields, right? And there's been a great amount of collaborative work done. If you watched K-Pro's video earlier tonight, I think she mentioned, and it's true, that there's been several 24-hour discussions that just people are on for 20, maybe not the same people, but multiple people, so the chat never ends, just churning ideas. And maybe because on the surface it does seem tantalizingly easy. I mean, hey, all you need is the poem, right? I'm giving you clues to help you, right? Because clues are something extra, in my opinion, right? There's the puzzle, and then if you need help, you get clues. So you should be able to solve the puzzle on its own. Here's extra clues to help you solve it, right? That's the way I understand the words, right? And so on the surface, hey, it's just one page, 5 stanzas, 10 sentences. And Justin's gone above and beyond the interviews, right? He's helping us. Hey, there's a checkpoint that'll let you know you're in the right area, right? So don't waste tickets on flights, don't waste vacation days, don't waste months grid searching. You'll hit a checkpoint, right? Hey, I took 4 to 6 hours. I took a couple of weeks to write the book. Like, he's trying to tell us something. What's he trying to tell us? Well, in my opinion, I think myself included, we've all missed something. We've all gone in the door and turned left instead of right. And I can say that with confidence because no one has the box yet, right? So that's or they're waiting 30 days, 28 days, 29 days. But looking back over this, and I'm not gonna do the whole poem tonight, just starting from maybe the first stanza, first couple of lines. Have we all missed the mark with, can you find what lives in time? Maybe that's where we're all going wrong, because so many people seem to agree. Hey, yeah, we know what lives in time. Yeah, it's memory. Yeah, it's photos. Yeah, it's stories. We got it. We know. But do we know? Maybe that's where we're going wrong. Maybe we're all just, again, walking in the door and turning left instead of going right, or up or downstairs, however you want the analogy to fit. So I look through that line because it's something that it feels easily solved, right? I mean, can you find what lives in time? And then if you just run a simple search on time in the book, you find all kinds of stuff. Much of it is relating to hiding things in time or something existing in time. I went down a rabbit hole today about, the tenses, past, present, future tense, and how things can live in time. And, I think about what's that Christmas movie? uh, Jiminy Cricket, Crackit, Bob Cratchit. I'm blanking on it. It's on the tip of my tongue. But Ebenezer, right? Scrooge, Ebenezer Scrooge, Scrooge McDuck. I'm all over the place. But the ghosts of Christmas, past, present, and future, right? It's a very common theme. And yeah, I'm getting distracted. Sorry, probably because it's late. But I just wanted to call everybody's attention here to this first line. What if everyone's in agreement on something and no one has a box, or no one's found the checkpoint even, or the cipher that they've shared? Hey, I could be wrong. I could be the last one to know, and somebody's already there's a secret Discord group that already knows all the answers to the questions. Maybe. Can you find what lives in time? I don't know if I don't know if I'm gonna have an answer tonight. I'm just proposing this, that maybe we're all going about this the wrong way. And so what path do we all take? Well, the book kind of leads us with as much talk about fly fishing and water and rivers and streams. If you do Google searches, or even if you use AI, I mean, it's pretty common. You'll get hits about time's like a river's like time. It flows in one direction. You can't go back. I mean, it's endless, right? But what if we move beyond that, beyond the map's edge? What if we move beyond, not beyond time? We don't want to go there just yet. That's for another discussion. But we don't. Let's move beyond the rivers. Let's move beyond the common definitions, common answers, memory, uh, photos. What else can you find what lives in time? I mean, I joked, I laughed with the person who said, I'm in time, like I am, or me is in time, like looking at the word time, time, and figuring out what lives in there. But maybe we dismissed it too soon. Maybe we didn't give it enough thought. I mean, that is something that could be standalone, right? If the poem can be solved standalone, if I gave this to someone and they didn't have access to the book, maybe they had internet, maybe they didn't, but after a while, they'd probably figure that out. They might not even go to rivers right away. They might get to memory and photos, but what if they went, oh, what lives in the word time? Let's do some wordplay. Let's put time, and let's look at the I and the E. Let's look for I'm. Let's look for where else the narrator is talking in the story, and maybe circle that back. Maybe that's how we're gonna crack this thing, right? Because we have an I wait for you, so we've got an I and a you, and that's the only time that it's mentioned, right? So the first stanza is asking you, can you find what lives in time? And let's just go down this rabbit hole for a little bit right now. Well, what if I'm, or I am, is in time, right? And we're not going down the Christianity route yet. The I am, right? And Jewish and the Hebrew and what words for the I am. We're not gonna do that. As tempting as it is, right? So can you find you what lives in time? And if we're saying that I am, if we're saying that I'm in time, let's look for where the I'm is, where the I is. So there's nothing in the first stanza. Who isn't mentioned. Let's go down to the second stanza. As, hope, I. So there's another I and a you. So can you find what lives in time, and I am in time? And then I wait for you. Is that we're still looking for the I am? We're still looking for the I'm. So that's I wait for you to cast your pole. So I'm is in time, and he's also waiting. So he's waiting for you to cast the pole, and he's waiting in time. Let's continue down. That's in third stanza. That's his bride, her. Fourth stanza. It's a location. No I, no am, no them. And let's look down to the last stanza. You again. You already know. So the only time that I is mentioned in this, right? I mean, unless I'm missing something. I mean, go back and tell me in the comments if I'm wrong. I know you guys aren't shy to. And I appreciate that. I appreciate the engagement, because I think we're all, for the most part, it's goodwill, it's good faith. So the only where there's an I'm is in the second stanza. The I wait for you to cast your pole, right? Unless I missed that. So it's asking, can you find what lives in time? We're looking for the I'm, and we found him. There's only one I in this stanza, in the whole poem, and the I's waiting for you to cast your pole. So now we got to work our way backwards, right? And I think that it's okay to work your way backwards when you're looking for a solve. The complete solve, as Justin understands it, as it's correctly solved, will work continuously. But I think if you're trying to backdoor engineer it, you can work backwards a little bit. So we're saying what can you find what lives in time? We're saying I is in time. All right, and we're looking for what. So then we go down. The only place that is that I wait for you to cast your pole. So that location is going to be what lives in time. So then you go back to walk near silent flight, around the bend past the hole. And so that spot right there is the answer to the first question. All right. And what does that do? Maybe that's just throwing it back to the very end where it says what you seek you already know. But again, I mean, doing this mental gymnastics, it's easy to see how someone can get frustrated because we did all that. We went through 3 sentences in 3 different stanzas to find one location. And maybe that's, I mean, again, I got to try to move past my own bias. Maybe that's how this is going to work, is that 5 stanzas, seemingly 5 different, or at least 3 different locations, but they're all referring to the same spot. I could see that. I mean, I really could. Everything's so vague at first that only when you put it together will it be a specific spot. So I don't know. This weekend I might mess around with that. At least tomorrow. That instead of my previous bias, my previous solve relied on, finding one spot, finding a second spot, drawing a line, find a third spot, 20-degree angle, make a triangle, base, equal up to 180, a little bit of math that seemed kind of basic at first. But what if maybe this is why we're all missing it. It's just, it's one spot, right? And he's going to bounce us around a little bit. We have to get cute with figuring out who people are. We'll have to use a compass, right, to navigate, find the true spot. I don't know. I feel like I'm spinning my wheels a little bit here, but I feel like I said there was a couple good nuggets in there that I'll work with throughout the rest of the week, right? So appreciate you listening to me ramble. The big takeaway in my mind is that what if we've been doing it all wrong? And some of you guys I'm sure some of you guys have gone down this route before. I mean, again, I'm not cocky enough to think that have individual thoughts, right? There's nothing new under the sun. Every thought has already been thought of. Every movie's already been made. Yada yada. Every story's already been told. All the stories are all classic, just reimagined, right? It's the same couple themes that go back to ancient Greece and beyond that. I don't know. But yeah, I feel like maybe let's circle back to that. Can you find what lives in time and try a different, unique approach? If you have a solve, that's great for you. Work it. If you don't have a solve and you're getting frustrated, just try to think of an interpretation for what lives in time that you haven't heard before. All right, it's great we're on the Discord. I'm gonna still continue to be on the Discord, still exchange thoughts and everything. But do us all a favor. Try just something completely new. Don't do something that doesn't make any sense, right? Don't just pull something out of left field, but try to think of a new way that you can interpret it. Try to put the book aside, put Netflix aside. Just focus on the words. Phone a friend that's never heard of this. See what they think. See if you can find an answer to what lives in time that's not something that someone has common. All right, that's it for tonight. Just I don't know, late night session, bouncing some stuff around. I want to get it off my chest, get it out there, and let's see if we can't find what lives in time, right? All right, take care, guys. Bye.